Good evening. Welcome to the Utility Safety and Environment Committee meeting for Wednesday, March 4th, 2026. The first item on the agenda is the matter of approval of the meeting minutes for Utility Safety and Environment Committee meeting, which took place on February 4th, 2026, and circulated on February 9th, 2026. Can I get a motion, please?
So move.
Second.
Moved and properly second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The next item on the agenda that I know we've all been anxiously waiting for is the matter of discussion of the 2026 street resurfacing program and discussion of the 2026 street list for each ward. So before we begin, each ward, per Mr. Pileski, we have $328,571.43 to spend per ward. I want to round up. John says no, so. Mr. Snyder, take it away.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. So before you are hopefully all the streets that were turned into me. I did my best at getting all those out and getting numbers turned around as fast as possible as far as for what I believe you were asking for on some of these things, because some were kind of difficult to understand, but that's okay. With that, I split up the wards, obviously, on here, so you can see the different numbers. I have it set up on my screen that if you're going to go with the 1/7 distribution, I'll be able to do all the adding them in, and it'll subtract out and tell you how much is left in the bottom right there of each ward. The X next to your street name, that should be the one that you actually turned into me. At least that's what I believe you were turning in. So hopefully, if there's some discrepancy there, you can let me know and I can update that. But all these estimates were done basically at a computer, so we did not go out in the field yet. That would take a lot more time to get those type of numbers, but usually with the asphalt numbers, they're pretty stable as far as, it's largely a length width calculation, so. But with that, I start any way you want.
Okay. As I said 1,000 times, and I'll say it again, street resurfacing is the most important thing a ward council person can do, because our residents, they want their streets done. And thanks to the 2016 0.5% income tax, we're able to do that. This year, again, we had $3.2 million to spend. 2.3 million to spend. The tool that we've been working with, the Street Scan, I think is awesome. What I did personally was I went through all of my fails and drove around, and then I put them on my list to give to Mr. Schneider. So, anybody have any questions before we begin? You guys know how this works? Okay, let's start at the beginning. Ward 1, Mr. Oswald.
Through you, Madam Chair, Mr. Snyder, I know you were telling me that it's very difficult right now to calculate my concrete streets, which I've got a lot of them. How do I do this? And, as far as picking and choosing and getting the numbers of what I want, help me out what I should do with that.
I would tell you with concrete that it's an easier method of actually getting what you asked for. So let's just say for yours, in regards to, Antioch, I did go through, I did it the best I could with aerial photography, and I measured out what I thought was representative of what you have out there, gave a little buffer above that. Obviously depending on prices, things of that nature as well, it'll dictate as far as what the actual cost is. The good thing about concrete, if I tell you I have, $50,000 for you for that street, I can use it on that street until I run out. You might not finish it. Or I could, if I do finish your street and I have left over, I can continue around a corner. So it's not, I guess for the concrete streets, it's not that difficult for us to spread the money out in your ward that way. And I know over in that area, there's a lot of other roads that are adjacent, that are concrete, that have issues, so it wouldn't be that difficult for us to spread it out. But we did try our best as far as determining what you have there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So, Mr. Lippian, Monday night you mentioned that you felt we should divide the money up a different way. You want to tell the group about that before we begin?
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you. I mentioned a proposal where, because we would distribute the money equally amongst the wards based on the last model and the way we've always done it, this time it's a little different because we've spent money on a street scan, which shows us that we have unequal conditions of streets ward by ward. My thinking is let's take out the worst streets first and concentrate the money in the wards that have the highest percentage of failed and poor streets. So when I sat down and went over it with the engineer, the pie chart that we had come up with was that the worst ward, I believe, when it came to failed and poor streets, was Ward 4, Brenda Davis's ward, 23% of the share of failed or poor streets. Second place to that was ward number, well, when I did that, I think it was it was Kenny's ward.
4.
And then third place was Ward 1. Now, if you take all and then I think at the last place was Ward 3, which had about 3% of the worst streets. If you take it at a more global perspective, ma'am, and you looked at not just poor to failed streets, but the condition of all streets, regardless of intensity, Ward 1 is, I think, in the second worst ward in terms of streets, and I think the number 1 worst ward is ward number, is Brenda Davis's ward.
2.
Ward 2, thank you. I misspoke before, Kenny's Ward 4. So when I'm looking at this, I'm seeing an equal distribution of funds, but we have an opportunity here, and it's not about Ward 1, it's not about me. I just want to see the greatest amount of good happen with this money and stretch a buck. I know you're very passionate about getting the most amount of streets done that we can, and I just think this is a great opportunity to use this street scan. We might not do it next year because we might not get a street scan, but at this point, this year, I think it might be the most efficient way to spend the monies, and I kind of wanted to know what council thought about that. That's all.
Mr. Pianowski, let me ask you, when we decided to go with street scan, it was just to identify the streets and the conditions it was. Street scan was not intended, my understanding, to tell us how to distribute the money. Is that correct?
Through you. Yeah, it's still your choice. But it is a tool that does provide the information that Councilman Lippian is suggesting, if you choose to use it that way.
So what are your thoughts, committee? Mr. Oswald?
Through you, Madam Chair. Okay, I think it has merit. In talking to a few other people, then maybe if we have, let's say, split up 90% of the money in the balance of the 10%, we focus on the failed streets. So what I'm getting at right now is I don't think this topic of conversation, it's right now, this is drop dead time. I don't want to be trying to figure it out because we're going to come up, we need a special meeting after all is done and get figured out for what we're going to do for next year. But right now, I think it's last minute. We've got it figured out. I don't think it's a good idea right now. I think we will come up, if we want to change it, we can come up with some suggestions. We can have a conversation in the utility committee and we can go from there. But right now, I don't know if I really want to be making an answer around what we want to do with that, other than what we've always done.
Okay. Mrs. Davis?
Through you, Madam Chair, with this conversation, having residents in my area heard the conversation, they was highly upset to once looking at all the streets that's failing in my area and the poor streets in the area, and they seem to think that the way we were doing it, we are covering everybody in every ward because everybody pays taxes. And so to give more to one just because the scan looks like to me, I tell you, I was just totally blown away with the poor streets and the failed streets in our area. I thought we were shucking corn up here. And when I seen this list, and so the people speaks. They said, no way. Do it, divide it up the way we've been doing it. And like you said, Kenny, maybe next year we could have a conversation that way, but I don't see how. So my vote is to continue to do it, to pick the streets that we have been working on, trying to get fixed for a couple of years now. This is their time. This is their time.
Mr. Pianowski?
Thank you. Through you, I just wanted to, a couple people have talked about maybe next year. I just wanted to remind everybody, the product that we purchased is a 3-year agreement, but it's a one-time scan. The thought process was that we're not going to fix all the failed and poor in 1 year anyway, so the list is still going to be current. They will update for all work that we do in the report, including crack sealing, paving, patching and repairs, so it will reflect the work it has done, but they will not scan again next year. We'll be working off the same report with updates, but you're certainly not going to fix all of your poor and failed this year. So I thought, especially since this is the first time we've trying this process, that was a little bit cheaper that way, and it was a good investment to see how it worked for us. But it is a one-time scan with an updated report the second and third year.
I think the software is awesome. What I did was I took the software and looked at just my failed streets. So every street that has an X by it in my ward is a failed street. So by your calculations, I would get 11% of the money. There's no way I can do what I need to do in my ward with just that. So I am not in favor of it. Mr. Armstrong?
Through you, Madam Chair, I'm also, as I look briefly through the rest of everybody's list, seems to be a lot of streets on here that aren't even in the poor or failed category that some have chose. So I think they have already made their decision on what they want to fix in their wards. And, you know, unfortunately, it's not the failed and poor streets, but, you know, looking at the failed and poor streets, we have to realize that I still feel, in my opinion, that a lot of them should be done in-house, or we figure a way to just chip and seal them. Because there are some that are like alleys that are ranked failed, and low streets that have very low density of traffic. So I think we really need to consider a lot of different factors that the street scan doesn't give us. So that's just my input on there. I mean, no, we're not going to get all failed or poor done with 2.3. Now, if we had a little extra money, that would be great. I don't know.
I was begging.
I don't know if the director can pull some money out of somewhere, like, you know, with the chip seal program, but who knows? Maybe there is some money.
You know, I have alleys. What is that, Irondale Alley? It is Ironwood Alley. It is horrible. I didn't even put that on the list because it is an alley.
Oh, I almost did for you.
It is horrible, but I didn't put it on my list because it's an alley. Mr. Sarah, you're not on this committee, but you certainly may voice your opinion.
Through you, Madam Chair. So, I mean, we've, talked for the last several years about, some words aren't going to be able to get caught up. And I just don't see any mathematical equation that's ever going to happen with all the even fair and poor streets. I think when I first seen this report came out, and I stick with it now, we need to be targeting the failed streets before we do any of the poor streets, or
agree.
you're going to be going backwards again.
I agree.
And if that means that, any ward gets a little bit more than another because they don't have as many reds or failed, I don't know. That's just my 2 cents.
Ms. Rothgary?
Through you, Madam Chair. I concur with Councilwoman Davis. The people in each ward have their council person, and they talk with them, and they need to be heard. And I like the money going to the different wards. It's my understanding that sometimes some money can be shifted. If one ward didn't need it all, it could go to another, and things of that nature. And also with the Irondale alleys and things like that, couldn't we do something in-house, even if it's...
I'll let Mr. Pianowski answer that.
Thank you, through you. The street department currently does not have the equipment or the personnel or the training to do a full alley. They have done some patchwork. They did a longer patch project on 15th or thereabout alley. Is that last year? 10th. And so that went pretty well. It is important to recognize, as Councilman Armstrong has already stated, these are low-traffic areas because, I'll tell you, they basically fabricated in-house a smoothing trailer, and it worked better than not having one, but it still needs some modification. So, it would be a significant investment in equipment to upgrade those things, and I think that we'd have to expand the staffing and training. We are going to expand the crack sealing this year, which is a preventative method, obviously, to prolong the life of the streets. And Council President Mitchell had mentioned some additional money out of this that I discussed with the mayor and asked Finance Director Pileski and talked to Council President Mitchell, an extra $100,000 to go towards crack sealing exclusively. And the reason being is we can only crack seal when it's above a certain temperature and below a certain temperature. I think it's 50 and 85 or something thereabouts. And so, and also last year we ran out of product at the end of the year and it cut us a couple weeks short. So number one, we'd like to expand how much we're doing and make sure we have enough product. But given those temperature restrictions, we're going to get started in April, where last year we got started mid to late May. I'd like to be able to maybe use some overtime when the temperature allows, so that when we can't do it when it gets hotter, but so that we can get a lot more done. This street scanning also provided us a work list of streets that needed crack sealed, and I provided that to the street department and asked them to assess them and start making their work list for April so that we can get up and running. But we intend to do a significant more crack sealing across the city. Remind you that last year was the first year we did it and had the machine. So there was a little bit of a learning curve last year, but I think we've worked those things out, and that's another reason why we really want to get after it this year and tackle some of that.
And crack sealing is very important, and the guys in the street department did a fantastic job on Murray Ridge, just patching up some of the potholes there. Murray Ridge is getting done. I'm so thankful. I'm so happy, so thank you. Mr. Doney, do you have anything you would like to say?
No, I was actually going over my list, and I know I have the least amount of the failed, but one of my concerns was I do have pores, and pores are going to turn into fail. It's just above the
Absolutely.
fail. So, I mean, if council wants to do something together and they want to come up with a new policy, I'm for that. But I have a hard time giving away my money when I've gotten some calls since we talked about it on council. But if I have extra money, I'm more than willing to help with that. I know Andrew and we have one that we split. Yeah, I'll take that. I don't mind that.
I'll take your money, don't worry about it. Mr. Oswald.
Through you, Madam Chair. So, okay, there was a lot of information here, and we keep saying this study was a tool, which is what I wanted. So how I normally do is I drive the streets first before we've had this extra tool. And I've said, well, this is bad. I think that this is needed or it's not needed, okay? Same thing with these things. I looked at some of these failed streets and I'm like, to me personally, that's not that bad. I think we could live with that. So I don't think we can take away the human element.
I agree.
Which is what, I don't want everybody thinking that just because it says failed on there, that's not going to be a good street, because you know what, maybe that could last. But maybe there's, and I don't know, let's just say there's one house on that, and you're going to, now, maybe, I mean, until you go over there and see, well, this doesn't get a whole lot of traffic, can this one wait? So let's not take the human element out. Go and look and see your streets and say, yeah, this is really nasty, or no, we can do some crack filling, or we can get in-house. In the small patches, the street department's been doing a pretty decent job on some of them. So if we can start relying a little bit more on them, I think they're going to do a good job. They've been doing a good job, so thank you.
When I suggested that you get your streets, I also said, put your eyes on it. You know your ward or you should, and you know what needs to be done. That's why, and I agree with Mr. Oswald, the human element is still important. I still drove my ward. I didn't drive the entire ward. I concentrated mainly on the fails, but they were real fails. They were bad. So, Mrs. Davis?
Through you, Madam Chair. Mr. Snyder, I know I have a couple of streets in my ward that the city doesn't maintain. And I thought that Newford is, that court, I thought that was one of them that the city doesn't maintain. So is that true?
No, that's the city street.
That's one of our streets?
Yeah, it's a city street.
Okay, that's the one off of Furnace.
Newford's off of Lake Avenue.
On the dead end side? Lake
On
and-
the
yeah,
south side
from
of
the
Lake
side.
Avenue, yes.
Okay, to go in there, okay. I thought it was another name. So in saying that still, they didn't scan any of those streets that were not maintained by the city? What we said was down here. One off of Second Street. You know where I'm talking about, Mr. Snyder?
Crehor Court?
Crehor Court. So they didn't scan that street, correct?
I don't believe they did.
Okay. I was just checking because I knew I have another street in my ward that's not maintained by the city. All right then, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Davis. Mr. Armstrong?
Through you, Madam Chair. So, I mean, I hear my colleagues and I hear Mr. Oswald saying that he would, rather not do the divide. That's cool. But I also hear Mr. Doning saying that he is willing to maybe look into some things. So if we go back to Mr. Andrews' equation, if we take away the extra from Kenny, we're taking away 131,429 that he wouldn't receive extra. But Ed has a potential 259,571 to play with off of Mr. Lippion's equation when it comes to the percentages. Now, things could get shifted. I mean, Council President, you and I have 75, 571 we're also looking at with Mr. Lippion's equations. Now,
Say that again, please.
we both have, so if we went off the percentage, the 11%, me and you have $75,571 to give up. Oh, don't.
No.
Now, all we need to do is, Miss Davis, if she don't need her extra 131,429, she don't need it. But she could give out something. Dang, that's some seniors, don't want to give her nothing. But but that being said, like, with the equation that Mr. Lippian proposed, he would only get an extra $85,000 in his ward. So go ahead, Ms. Davis, you give up 50. We just got to look at things all around. Because if Kenny don't need his extra and Ed wants to give a little of something, hey, maybe we could all give a little something. And I know it's hard for y'all to give and take, but I'm open to talking about it.
Mr. Lippian?
Thank you. Through you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Councilman Armstrong, and also thank you to Councilman Oswald, who said that my idea has merit. I appreciate that. I think it's creative analysis with the street scan that Mr. Pinowski put forward. We were all skittish about it as it started to develop, but I think we all agree now that it's been done, that it was a very good idea. I feel the same way about the concept of unequal distribution of money per ward because we have unequal conditions of roads. I think we're skittish about it, but if we did it, I think at the end of the day when we saw all the roads we got done, we would feel very good about it because even though each ward has tax-paying residents, I think we also agree that each ward travels to different wards and travels down different streets for different places that they need to go. So they're feeling the benefit, even if they don't live in that ward, they're still going to get the benefit for transacting in commerce. So to me, it's the way we've always done it. versus new creative solutions to old problems. Now, I'm not here to argue with any of my colleagues. I know there's a difference of opinion. I perfectly respect that. I think we can still do a lot of good if we do the old method. I definitely have a model that I think will get a lot of good done. I would say this isn't last minute. This is more urgent than we have in previous years because Council President, I think for good reason, wanted us to do this process a lot earlier than we'd previously done it. That creates that sense of urgency that we're going for. Now, I did make a referral for this to be on the agenda as a separate proposal. I respect President Mitchell's decision to consider it a duplicate because we were going to have a discussion about streets anyway, and why not talk about it all? So we're good with that. I respect whatever decision the Utilities Committee makes because it wouldn't be my vote. I'm not on the Utilities Committee. Whatever decision they come down with, I'm going to make the best decision for the ward that I represent. But I would encourage council to think creatively about some of these old problems because these streets, if we can stretch the dollar the best way that we can, ward by ward, the entire city, not just the ward that the street gets repaired in, would benefit.
Thank you, Mr. Lippian. Mrs. Rothgary.
Through you, Madam Chair. Mr. Lippian, Councilman Lippian, I'm sorry. This is not the way it's always been done. It used to be an equals, just the poorer streets got done years ago. This is actually somewhat newer. Mr. Schneider, could you clarify when this?
I've been on council for 17 years, and we've
Always been done this
always
way?
done a equal distribution, always.
I wouldn't say it was always equal. I would say that back when we were ranking them, we were more so the ones were getting
Ones,
done.
we were
So if
doing
you didn't
ones.
have ones, and there were obviously times when we had a lot less money, so it's not as if we were capable of getting something done in every ward, but years ago, it was largely based off of the rankings that were
Right,
provided.
because we had 1s, 2s, and 3s, correct?
Yeah.
And we tried to concentrate on the 1s, but it was always pretty much an equal distribution of the money. Mrs. Davis, and then we beat this horse to death. Mrs. Davis? Okay. So, Mr. Sarah?
Just real quick, Madam Chair. So back to your point, about dividing it equally, I came on in 2014, and we've been doing it that way since then. However, in a couple of those years, we had no money to work with.
Correct.
One year was 165,000, I don't remember which year it was. And another year, I believe was around 300,000, but we chose to take that money and get Third Street done for
That's-
11 cents on the dollar through a grant. But we
Right.
had to have an engineering study done to do it.
Right.
And then thankfully, in 2016, the 0.5% tax was passed, and we've been doing it this way since then.
Thank you. So Utilities Committee, how do you all want to do this? Mrs. Davis?
Madam Chair, through you, I would rather that we divide up our $328,571.43 per ward.
Can you make that into a motion, Ms. Davis?
I move that we have $328,571.43 per ward.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, let's move on. So let's start at the beginning. Mr. Lippian, would you like to select your streets?
Thank you. Through you, Madam Chair. I have selected them, and I just want to say I respect the Utilities Committee decision, and I hope that they also appreciate creative new ideas, and that's what we're here for. All right. My first question relates to Sumner Street. Mr. Engineer, I see $70,049. Is that for asphalt or concrete repair of Sumner Street?
That was set up for asphalt right now because I didn't have time to look at.
I understand
concrete, so-
entirely, and I respect that. My question to you is, do you think that an asphalt repair of that street would be sufficient given the traffic that goes down there? Now, I know we talked a little bit, you said you don't believe the heavy trucks transacted down that street as much anymore. There's more just automobiles.
Yeah, I mean,
Personal vehicles.
Yeah, but we use asphalt everywhere, so, I mean, it's not as if Clark Street isn't asphalt, Taylor Street's not asphalt. A concrete base is a solid base to you could say, a foundation to build off of. So I don't see a problem with using asphalt. Asphalt, does it last as long as concrete over time? No, but even even if you chop it up a concrete road and you do repairs out there, where you chop it up doesn't always last either.
I love that. Thank you, Mr. Engineer. Again, I respect and appreciate all the work you've put into this. The amount of, it's a Herculean task doing all this, and I can't imagine how much sleep you've gotten the last couple of days, but we appreciate you. What I'd like to say, I'm going to lead with the most important point I have here for Ward 1. We have a lot of commerce transacting in Ward 1, and I really want to do a lot of repairs around rigid tool. We all know what happened with Bendix, and part of the reason that Bendix left, at least from what I understand, is the condition of the streets. I don't want that to ever happen to Rigid Tool. This is a company that does $1 billion in sale each year. They just celebrated their 100th anniversary. We definitely celebrated that. And they compete with China. So if there's anything that I can do from my perspective as a ward councilman to help us compete against China, who, by the way, owns a company called Milwaukee Tool, which is deceptively labeled, and it's based in China, and they compete with Rigid Tool and cut into their profit share. If I can do anything as a ward councilman, I'm going to do it. So I would like to pave Sumner. I would like the $70,049 to go to Sumner Street because I've walked there early in the morning and I see these engineers. They're driving great cars and they're dodging potholes, and I don't want them going through that when they bring so much commerce to our city. So let's pave Sumner. I want to get that done. There's also some residents that live on that street. I would also like to pave Clark, Abbey to South Logan for $62,158. Again, bordering Rigid Tool. I have another question for you. We have Winkle Street. Winkle Street is the other area that borders Rigid Tool. It's $101,000. That's about the amount of money that I would have had we gone with my formula. Now, foregoing that formula, I still think the good could be done because that road is rough. Engineer, would you consider please making that an OPWC application for next year?
Certainly.
Great, thank you. All right.
So you don't want Winkle Street done this year?
In lieu of that, I would like to roll the dice and see if we can get OPWC funding for Winkle Street.
For next year or the year after?
Yes, ma'am.
There's no guarantee it'll be next
There's
year?
no guarantee. We're going to take,
Okay, so you are selecting Clark from Abbey to South Logan
yes, ma'am.
and Sumner Street from East Broad to the railroad tracks.
Yes, ma'am. I want to give Rigid Tool the support they need because they're competing on the world stage and bringing a lot of revenue to
But you
Elyria.
still have money left over.
Oh, you're darn right I do, and I'm going to use it. All right, so the additional streets that I have is I would like to pave Oxford Park to Garford for $74,319. I would also like to pave Williams Street from Clark to Buckeye. And I would like to pave Blaine for $77,387. And last but not least, and I appreciate Councilman Doney for working with Ward 1 on this. We've had a long-standing tradition of Ward 1 and Ward 3 splitting streets, and we're going to do it again. I would like to do Yale East River to Sherman, split halfway. One side's in Ward 1, one side's in Ward 3. My share would be $7,182, and Councilman Doney would pick up the other $7,182 under this idea.
I don't
would
think
point
that's
out that,
right.
yeah, I had an error in what I printed out earlier. I saw that when we were here. It's actually 56,000, so the 28,000 is actually already in half. But that would only put you over by a little.
Unless Mr. Doney would be willing to give the balance of the funds to finish the street, which would help get that red street done.
Which one are we talking?
We're talking about Yale East River to Sherman. We're coming up a little short right now on the 50-50 split. Would you be willing to cover the?
That was the one I was talking about. I'll
Okay.
take that whole thing.
You'll take that whole thing?
It's part of my ward, so I'd be happy to do that.
You'll take the whole thing?
And I could actually take some of your Park Avenue too.
That would be great. Yes,
And the
sir.
reason I say that is because I want to do the rest of the Park Avenue, and it would only make sense to make sure we get that done.
Excellent,
So I don't know
sir.
how much of that I could do, but definitely want to help with that.
Excellent. Well, then I have about $13,000 by the time I've gotten to
And you're going to
Yale.
donate it to me?
I would not. I would not, ma'am. If my streets were worse than yours, I might. I was thinking of donating it to Ms. Davis, but I like the idea of working with Councilman Doney, and I like the idea of us getting as much of Park done and as much of Yale as we can done. The balance that I have left over by the time I've gotten to Yale is roughly $13,000, and I'll contribute it to Councilman Doney's efforts to get more of Park done going into Ward 1 and complete Yale, and thank you for it.
Okay. So just so that we're clear, and Mr. Snyder's clear, you're going to do Blaine, you're going to do Clark from Abbey to South Logan, Oxford from Park to Garford, Sumner Street from East Broad to the railroad tracks, Williams from Clark to Buckeye, and Yale from East River to Sherman.
Yes, and then portions of Park in my ward extending from when Mr. Doney gives you his numbers, and he'll talk more about that
Okay,
when we get to Ward 3. That should cover the balance of Ward 1's request.
okay.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you. Whenever, just let me know when you're ready, Mr. Snyder.
Madam Chair, if
I
I may.
think,
Madam Chair.
oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, absolutely. Pardon me. Just a point of clarification, if you could, please, Mr. Engineer. What was the accurate number for completing the 100 block of Yale? You said it was
It was 56,000. so-
56,000. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, let me see down here. 57,457.
57,457. That's a mouthful. All right. Thank you, Engineer. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. You ready?
Yep.
Mrs. Davis.
Through you, Madam Chair, I have chosen Bond Street from West River to Furnace. I have chosen Furnace from Route 57 to Bell. I have chosen.
Hold on a second.
Oh.
Mr. Snyder, didn't they just do something on Furnace from 57 to Bell? Or am I thinking of something else?
I think it was something there, West River, that was
That was West River?
West River.
Oh, okay, okay.
They did Furnace from
Lake Avenue to West River
Lake
Road.
Avenue.
Okay, thank you. I apologize. I'm
This is-
sorry.
This is Bond, so. Erie Street. Persons Court. And Flora Court.
I don't see Florence, okay. You're,
Ooh, so I got $5,000 left. Huh,
you have $5,626.57 left.
that won't fix nothing. Okay,
Mrs. Davis,
yes.
Low Street from Tuscaroras to Lake Avenue is really bad.
Really bad, so, but it didn't have a price on here. So if he could, we can.
Maybe
change-
as an alternate, maybe,
Yes.
Lowell Street is on here. It's 86,000.
Which one?
The Lowell Street from Lake to the tracks,
yep, that's it, yep.
86,000.
Oh,
It's
from Lowell Street, from the
86,000.
railroad tracks to, it's poor, so, we get a price and we'll look.
Okay, but are you cool with where you are?
Yes, and I'll hold my 5,000 till I can see what, the Lowell Street from the railroad tracks to Tuscarora.
Okay.
That's
So
86,000.
it's 86,000.
What happened?
So let me make sure I'm clear. You're gonna do Bond Street from West River to Furnace, Erie Street from West River to Lorraine, Florence Court, Furnace Street from Bell to 57. Oh, okay. And Persons Court.
Yeah. Through you, Madam Chair, I do have one question. Since, through Mrs. Snyder, they're working on Furnace from 57 to Bell for the lines. The flags are all out. So is that something that's going to be completed, that I can put this street in there, or should I wait till next year?
They should be completed by then. I'd have to check with our water distribution guys. By the time we get this out and it all starts, there's plenty of time for them to finish their improvements, so
Okay.
there's no reason why they shouldn't be.
Okay, I'll just work with the city from the railroad tracks to, Tuscarora, so, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Doney,
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to start with Yale. East River to Sherman. We're splitting that with Andrew. I'll take the whole thing as the 56,000.
57,456.63.
Check. Then on Prospect, I'm looking at Michigan to Cambridge Apartments. That's 33,507.
Okay.
And then Defiance, Chestnut to Nebraska, which is 88,694. And then there was one area of Defiance that it was supposed to be Carroll towards Oakdale, and it's where the pavement change is. So it's a very small street there.
Yeah, I think I had it mislabeled. I did, and just so you know, that area kind of grew a little bit because, you know, you're new on council. I'll let you just give you kind of a outline of how we
please.
try to do stuff sometimes.
Please.
A lot of times when we pave stuff, like some of these, in some areas, I had to expand them a little bit because of drainage. So I can't pave uphill, or in that instance, that the way that intersection is, the handicap ramps over there are a problem.
Okay.
So I had to go to the intersection. I had to include that and a little bit more than that. That's why it's a little bit higher up
Okay.
than what you would think it would be.
Well, we'll take that one off because I won't have enough money for that one then. Then we're going to be looking at Park Avenue, Vassar to Michigan. And that one was 153,567. Am I over already?
Oh, yeah, you're over.
Way
You're
over.
81,000 over.
Holy smokes.
That seems high.
And I had the 12,000 in there.
I know. 153 sounded really high for that Park Avenue. Is that right, John?
You got to
I'm not
remember,
sure.
Park Avenue is super wide. It's 30 feet wide. And
Okay.
that section you have there is really long, actually. It's a big area.
Okay.
Oh, excuse me.
Mr. Lippian?
Through you, Madam Chair, just a reminder, I did contribute the balance of the account that I had put forth to Mr. Doney's efforts to stretch Park as far as he could go, so he has another 13,000.
I put that in there.
Thank you. Very good, sir.
Would it be possible for me to recalculate and then come back to me after a ward or two? Is that okay?
We were hoping to vote on these tonight.
Oh, no, I plan on it. I just
Oh,
want to do
okay, okay.
recalculating now. I'm feeling a little bit rushed. It's kind of going
Okay.
back and forth because I had some questions about the numbers.
Mrs. Deary?
Thank you, through you, Madam Chair. I'm just noting, he has listed Park, or you have Park Vassar to Miami and then Park Vassar to Michigan. Is there any sort of overlap there by any chance?
Well, the one I added,
Yeah,
the Vassar to, was it Miami, is actually in Mr. Lippian's ward.
oh, I see.
And the
Okay.
park from Vassar to Michigan
Right.
is Mr. Doney.
Right, but I just mean,
And they
as far as
connect.
stretch of park, is that, because obviously there's two different prices there, is there any chance that one of those stretches is, I mean,
Like the one is 2 blocks and the other one's like 4 blocks.
right, but I
So it's
mean,
twice as big.
right, but is it 88,000 plus 153,000? Because they're,
Yes, well, when we were talking, when Mr. Lippian was going, I moved it down to his,
okay, I just didn't know if, because it's from the one start point and two different end points. So I'm just wondering why it's 153,000 plus 88,000. You see what I'm
because it's
saying?
actually from Michigan to Miami, not,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Vassar's in between.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Pianowski, did you have something, sir?
Through you, I was just going to clarify, it's going in opposite directions from Vassar, that's all.
So, Mr. Doney, you are over $81,052.56. So now
Thank you.
think about that.
I will do that.
Mr. Oswald? Oh, I'm sorry. You're going to come back, Mr. Doney, and...
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
I'm
thank
just
you.
going to recalculate. I just
Sure, okay.
need to see the screen.
Mr. Oswald?
Through you, Madam Chair. Alexander from Abbey to house number 160. That should be 75049. Commodore Circle, the concrete repairs, 72,213. Hamilton Avenue from Glenwood to Washington Avenue. And then Olivet. So I'm just a hair under my budget with 4 roads. Can you believe that? So anyhow, there's just a couple grand left, and depending on what these numbers come in, anything left over, hopefully there is, I'll pray. The half of the cul-de-sac in Alexander, see what we can do with that money.
Yeah, so just so you know, when I priced out that second section of Alexander, I did it 2 ways. One with asphalt, so that would be the 62,000, and the concrete to replace that entire, essentially that, I guess, an eyebrow, cul-de-sac, whatever you want to call it. It was very expensive. That's what's 79,000. So that's why I have the 2 broken out there, the concrete repairs. So that would be just doing those areas in concrete largely.
So I wasn't
Through the
planning on
chair,
doing any of the concrete.
Through the chair.
But
Guys, please,
I'm
through the
sorry.
chair. Mr. Oswald?
Through you, Madam Chair.
Yes, please. Thank you.
You were saying that you give me some prices on the concrete. I'm not going to do the concrete. I'm just going to do the asphalt from Abbey Road to like the beginning of where the concrete starts, which is 160, the address, okay? And then I'm not going to do no concrete repairs after that. Correct?
through the chair, yes.
Yes, sir.
And then, like I said, if there's any other money left over and I can do some repair in that half cul-de-sac towards the end, as you go south, that's where I'd like some of that money spent.
So to confirm, you're doing Alexander, Abbey to house number 160, Commodore Circle, no concrete repairs, that's going to be asphalt? Okay. Hamilton Avenue from Washington to Glenwood, and Olivet.
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you.
Thank you. Ward 5, Mr. Armstrong.
Through you, Madam Chair. Well, let's see here. I want to take care of the school, so I want to do 5th Street, West Ave to Middle. Want to do Vic Janowick Drive. Want to do 14th. I'm going to do Riverside. Through the chair, Mr. Snyder, is there a way I could actually add the other part of Riverside from 8th to 9th to my list? Since we're going to be over there. I didn't add it. I want to add it now to get a price. It should be similar price.
Through the chair, I guess I'm a little confused. You said Riverside from 8th to 9th?
Yes, I want to add that also.
I would have to go back and calculate.
Excuse me?
I can't do it here.
No, I know.
Yeah.
That Depot. Let me do 17th.
over $11,000.
That's tough. Okay, take out 17th, add Faxon. And then that other Riverside should put me right at my money.
So to confirm, we're doing 5th from west to middle, 14th west to middle, Depot Street, Cedar to the fire station, Faxton, 15th to 14th, Riverside, 10th to 9th, Riverside, 8th to 9th, and Vic Janowitz Drive.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. Mr. Sarah? Yours got
Take me
cut off.
down to the bottom. Yeah, thank you.
That's okay. We're good. Excuse me.
To White Oak, Poplar to Sycamore. Branson, Poplar to Sycamore.
I guess through the chair,
To Greeley, I'm sorry.
we actually did Poplar to Greeley last year.
What was the section of? Now I gotta do some recalculation. Harwood, Cleveland to Hamilton? Marseilles, Sycamore to 57, I guess. Wait a minute. Yeah, we'll go with that. I mean, that's going to be the closest I can get to numbers, I believe.
Madam-
I'll go with what I gave him. I think that's as close as I can get the numbers.
Madam Chair? Oh, through you, Madam Chair. I wonder if Councilman Sarah would be willing to give the remainder to Councilwoman Davis for her ward.
I'll give it to whoever needs it, I don't care. If there's, I guess I'll reword that. If there's a street that can get done and that $2,000 is gonna make the difference, absolutely use it, you know. If it's not gonna get a street done, then don't know what to tell you. As long as it's a failed street.
Thank you. Let me just remind everybody, these are estimates. So when we start talking about numbers that close, I mean, we might need that because the estimate coming in a little bit higher. So just keep that in mind, too. I appreciate the effort. I just want to remind everybody of that.
So, Mr. Sarah, to confirm, Cranston, Ohio, Cleveland, Harwood, Cleveland, and now White Oak, Popular, Sycamore,
Correct,
and Marcel, Sycamore.
correct.
Oakwood, Hampville,
Madam Chair, is your speaker on?
I apologize, it was not on. I'm so sorry. You can take Westbridge, you can take Westbridge out. Would it be possible, Engineer Schneider, Brunswick Drive is a super long road, but the entire road does not need to be done? Can we look at that and see what it would cost just to do the worst of that?
Sure.
Okay. Okay. Because it is bad. And I thought I put it on my list, but I guess I didn't. Meander Court. And there's just a very small part.
I believe Meander Court might be a private road.
Please again.
I believe Meander Court might be a private road. I have to look at that one up, but
Because it goes back to the,
condos?
no, back to the nursing home. Not the nursing home, the retirement home back there.
Academy Court?
Yeah, I guess yeah, it's Academy Court, but it butts up against Brunswick. Yes, you're right. I had my places confused. So can we leave this as it is until we get prices for those two?
Yes.
So to confirm, I am going to do Bell Court from Clemens to house number 150, Oakwood Drive, Penfield to Clemens. We're going to look at a small stretch of Academy Court and see what we can do with Brunswick Drive.
I do have Academy Court on here.
But it's a very small section.
Okay. I'll take a look.
Well, let's go with that, Academy Court. And for that 83,000, we'll see what we can do on Brunswick. Because people are complaining about it. So are we good?
I still have mine. Excuse me, Madam
Oh,
President.
please,
Madam
Mr.
Chair.
Doney.
Yeah, no worries.
Go right ahead.
All right, just trying to figure it out. I'm new to this, so. What I'm looking at is Defiance, Chestnut to Nebraska, 88,694. And then I'm looking at Defiance, Carroll to, I think you said it had to be the Nebraska, is that what you said, John?
Well, it's not that far.
Okay.
Sorry, through the chair. The part on Defiance was where you had it from,
To the
where it
pavement
where it
change?
changes from concrete to asphalt through Carroll Lane, approximately, I'd say 100 feet south of there to
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, whatever that is, that'll be 69,374. And then I'm taking the Yale, that's splitting Andrews in my ward. I think it was 57,456? Is that correct?
Yes.
And
Okay.
just to confirm, through you, Madam Chair, that's where you're applying the 13,000 I had left over into Yale.
Oh, is that right? So we had 13 then?
I had 13, and then you said you'd cover the rest of Yale if I applied 13 to it.
That'd be great.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Then I had Prospect. Did we get Prospect on there? Yeah, Prospect to Cambridge Apartments, the 33,506.60. And then how much do I have left there? I'm having
You
a hard
don't have
time seeing
anything,
it.
you're over 150,000.
Oh, no, I apologize. I was taking Park off of there. The large part of Park, the 153,000. I
Okay.
forgot to tell you that.
You have 3,000 left.
We can put that where we need to.
Okay. So to confirm, you're doing Defiance Chestnut to Nebraska.
correct?
Defiance, Carroll, Chestnut, Nebraska.
Yes,
Park from Vassar to Michigan.
yes,
And Prospect, Michigan to the Cambridge Apartments.
correct.
And Yale?
East River to Sherman.
Okay, Yale, East River to Sherman.
And
Okay,
as a note, just so we're clear, I'm giving up the large part of Park, and I'm going to take the failed, is what I'm doing, from Ward 1, because it is adjacent to mine, which is Vassar to Miami. That's the 88,000. So,
thank you.
in the spirit of working with the fails.
Thank you, Councilman.
So are we ready to vote on this, Mr. Snyder?
Through you, Chair. I will, just so you know, I will change that Defiance one. I will clean it up so that it's actually correct,
Okay,
just so you know.
okay. With mine not having the pricing on Brunswick, do you want to wait on that? Or, I don't care. I mean, you can,
I will tell you that it's going to take us a while to do all this, so we do have a little time, but I will have those numbers to you right away, so I don't know if you want to make through the law director, consult with the law director, change your council maybe, and just adjust that little piece. I can tell you, I can get you those numbers, we'll work it out beforehand, but that shouldn't be a problem.
Mrs. Deary?
So, through you, Madam Chair, I mean, Engineer Schneider, I mean, the way your process will work is that you're going to get the list, council will ostensibly approve it, and then it's going to go out for bid. So
We have,
there may need to be adjustments anyways, heaven forbid, depending on what the quotes and bids come back as. So I would still think if this is the list that gets approved by council, you don't necessarily need to update the numbers unless the ward council persons want to make adjustments. Is that accurate?
down.
Yes.
Okay.
But I
For
guess
you.
one other thing, I guess, because we don't have it here, just in case, I mean, I do try to be a little conservative, so if you want to put some alternates on here so we can bid alternates as well, obviously, I mean, we used last year's numbers for the most part, with a slight inflationary number, but if we get good numbers, you never know. Last year, I think we were able to do like 2 or 3 total of the alternates, so they were small ones.
Does anyone have any small ones they want to use as an alternate if the bids come in lower? Mr. Sarah?
We could do the Marcel's to Sycamore, or I'm sorry. That's 119, never mind. I just seen it here. 36, that's Arnie's, we don't need to do that. The Pasadena, wasn't there a Pasadena to Ohio Street? Am I missing that?
It's a Pasadena.
Cleveland,
Cleveland.
yeah, Cleveland, House 545,
So that'll be your alternate?
yeah.
Anyone else want to put an alternate on? Mr. Armstrong?
Through you, Madam Chair, I'd like to add as an alternate Linwood Court, Fuller Road to Nelson Street.
Yeah. Mrs. Davis?
Through you, Madam Chair. Mr. Snyder, 49th off of Leona, is that, because since they're working over there so much, I don't know if I want to mess with that, because that's supposed to be a new project coming behind the new center there. And I think that's 49th Street that runs where they're going to be trucking.
Yeah, through
But-
the chair to you, Councilwoman Davis. Yes, there is some potential development over there. It's an alley that only accesses I think 2 businesses over there, one being the hotel and one a little bit further west.
Okay. All right, that street is out. I'd like to put in for my alternate, Phillip Court or either Newford Court.
Which one do you want?
Well, the one 24,000, Newford Court, 24, was really $25,000. I mean, 24,300. So, Newford Court.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Lippian,
Through you, Madam Chair, Frank Court.
please again.
Frank Court.
Okay. So, Mr. Snyder, I will say, if we could get done Brunswick as much as we can with what I have left over, I'm cool with it. Okay. So, I'm ready to read the committee report. We good? We're good, okay. We have considered the matter of the 2026 Residential Street Resurfacing Program, and this is an ordinance authorizing the mayor to advertise for bids and to enter into a contract for the 2026 Street Resurfacing Program and to include the attached list of streets after final updates. Emergency clause is requested due to seasonal construction time constraints. Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and properly second. Any further discussion?
Question.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you all so much. This is relatively
Everybody
painless.
works for Greenlee now.
Can I get a motion to, oh, there's no other business to come before this committee? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Who moved? It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, guys.